But why do we sound the shofar? Why is this the central mitzvah of the holiday? Happy Elul! Today is the first day of the Hebrew month of Elul. It is the month that leads up to Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and all over the world, Jews are starting their minyanim, starting their traditional morning services with the sound of the shofar. And we begin with the sound of the shofar to help prepare ourselves spiritually for one of the biggest days of the year, Rosh Hashanah, then followed by Yom Kippur. And each year we sound the shofar during this Hebrew month of Elul, and then on Rosh Hashanah. And in fact, one of the other names for Rosh Hashanah is Yom Teruah, which is the day of the sounding. That's actually how Rosh Hashanah is referred to in the Torah. Nowhere in the Torah does it refer to the day as Rosh Hashanah, the first of the year. Instead, it's called Yom Teruah, the day of the sounding of the shofar. But why do we sound the shofar? Why is this the central mitzvah of the holiday? And why does it touch us so deeply? If you grew up Jewish, you have memories of this sound, and it's a mystical sound. It sometimes can't just be explained, it has to be felt. But the Jewish philosopher Saadia Gaon came up with a list of reasons why we hear the shofar during Elul and then on Rosh Hashanah. And he explains that among the reasons is that Rosh Hashanah marks the beginning of creation. And we, on Rosh Hashanah, accept the Creator. We accept God as Melech, as King, as Sovereign. And it says in Psalm 98, with trumpets and the sound of the shofar acclaim the Sovereign Almighty. So the shofar is a kind of trumpet used for the coronation of God, which we reenact each year on Rosh Hashanah. And second, Saadia says that Rosh Hashanah is this alarm during this period of repentance. And so the shofar is supposed to make us wake up and pay attention. And we think back over the past year, over the things that we've done, and the things that we're proud of, and the things that we're not so proud of. And we resolve to make teshuvah. We resolve to turn if we need to improve our ways. In fact, there's a great metaphor that we should look as if there's a balance, a scale, and all of our good deeds are on one side and all of our transgressions are on the other side, and the very next thing you are about to do is going to tip the scale. So what are you going to do? So the shofar wakes us up to that intense kind of reality. Third, Saadia says that the shofar reminds us of our stand at Mount Sinai, because the Torah was supposed to be given to us, it says, with the blast of the shofar, which grew louder and louder. And so we try to remember that we too stood at Mount Sinai, and we commit ourselves to doing mitzvahs, to doing mitzvot, and to say with our ancestors, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will hear. Fourth, on Rosh Hashanah we read the Akedah, the binding of Isaac, and tradition has it that this was the ultimate sacrifice, that Isaac offered himself up, Abraham offered his son, and that sacrifice, God said, I don't want human sacrifice, and so that sacrifice was replaced with a ram, and hence we use a ram's horn for the shofar, and we remember the sacrifices of others that got us to this day. And finally, the shofar reminds us of redemption, of a time to come. Because the prophet Isaiah says that it shall come to pass on that day that the great shofar will be sounded and all the lost shall return. So it reminds us of a world to come, an era of peace that we're trying to build together, and we do it by working together. The sound of the shofar still attracts us. Its mysterious music echoes in our souls. Question for you is, what do you personally hear in the sound? Happy Elul, Shana Tova. I ask you to think about this sound and to reflect on its meaning.